This is my fish tank, housing my fishes Fish 1, Fish 2, and Fish 4. They live in this 10-gallon aquarium that, I'll be honest, I have kind of let go over the past few months. It's had overgrown algae, it's got lack of plant growth, and it's overall devoid of any sort of good thriving life. And I wanted to change that. So here's a container which we're going to use to make an indoor pond. I then started trying different layouts with houseplants for my indoor pond, as I just didn't want it to be a container but instead a cut from nature right in my own room. And after some more arranging, I settled on this. Minus the dog, of course. Next, I wanted to transfer the water and fish to a temporary container. You might think to yourself, what tool would I use for this? A siphon? A bucket? Well, let me introduce to you the great plastic container. Sturdy and lasts hundreds to thousands of years. And it holds as much water as your coffee mug. So I got started on my task and started pouring water, shoveling water, pouring water, shoveling water, pulling water, shoveling water, pulling water, shoveling water. You get it. This is the type of things you won't see any other channel, man. Please subscribe so I can buy a siphon, please. Now that the rocks were out, it's time to get the inhabitants. First off was the featherfin catfish, known for its, well, fins, and also it does a unique sound whenever it's irritated or nervous or something, I don't know. And next off was my pom-pom crab, which really surprised me because honestly, I have not seen this guy in over a year. He's been hiding in the rocks and I thought he honestly got eaten or died, but well, it's a pleasant surprise to see. Next off is my Siamese algae eater. They're kind of a algae grazer and they're just pretty cool fish that fly around the tank. I have 2 of these, so just pretend I did 2, and yeah. Now that all the animals were safe, we just needed to get 1 more. After I moved the temporary tank to a safer location, it was time to actually build the pond. After reconsidering the actual space and moving things and stealing more houseplants from my mom outside, I eventually got with this layout. Next up was transferring the substrate using my trusty tool. To be fair, unlike water, there's not really any other better way really, unless you guys have some sort of device so, this one's fine. This one's cool. Now that all the substrate was in the tank, I also added the rocks and just made a random rock system. But now it's time to pour some water. I wasn't gonna fully drain all the water and just shove all the fish there. I just wanted to have a lot of the water there because it has the beneficial bacteria needed to, support life in the tank. After that was done, next was to put fresh water directly from my sink to my tank using a metal pot. It's different here, bro. It's different. Pots? Containers? We don't use any of that fancy things. Just straight muscle. It's not one of those automatic water systems you see in all those, Fishkeeper 1 million tank videos, but, it's something anyone can do at home and shows that fish keeping, anyone can do it. And as long as you try and be creative. Well, I don't know how creative this is, but... I then started unwrapping these new plants I bought. Honestly, I forgot the name. I just pointed at it. It looked cool. They said it grows easy. So yeah, I then added it to my tank. I then let the tank sit and settle overnight before I put any fish or crab in it. It was now the next day and a new day for my creatures to find their new home, finally. I then worked on unboxing a new filter for my aquarium. I knew it needed a bigger filter because it was a bigger tank and would have more bioload with the animals I was planning to put in it. So I went to my local fish store and got this little baby. It's pretty cool, nice and, aesthetic, and yeah. Overall, a good purchase and would help a lot in filtering my tank. Here's me installing it, and then after waiting around 30 to 40 minutes for it to, suck up the water properly and create, I don't know, to be honest. It creates something, like a vortex or something that pumps up the filter in the water, but after some time it was working properly. At the same time, it was time to release a new fish I got, the black phantom tetra. School of Six. I honestly wasn't in love with them at first, but I really wanted to try keeping new types of tetras. After giving them some time to acclimate, I'd recommend about 1 to 2 hours or so, it was time to release them. I just released them directly from the bag mixing the water because I trust my local fish store. You gotta be careful though if your fish store looks a little dirty, but yeah, I trusted mine, so I just let them go free for a stressless experience going in. Upon adding them to the tank, they started schooling right away, and it was truly a sight to see. It felt like my pond, or whatever, was finally coming together. A week later, and I bought more fish. Obviously. My first fish was a new one that's been coming up in the hobby, at least in the Philippines. I haven't seen this much before, but it was the spiny eel. A pretty docile eel that can grow pretty big, but yeah, it was really cool. It buries in the sand, or so they say, and I thought it was a cool addition for me to see every now and then. Next up was 6 pieces of Emperor Tetras, blue to be specific. I've had not blue emperor, but normal emperor tetras before, and they were really cool, so I really wanted to try adding them again in a much bigger tank. Upon adding both of the fish, although the eel ran away and darted somewhere safe, the blue emperor tetras started schooling with the black phantom tetras. It felt like the tank was finally vibrant. It was a pleasure to see and look at them swim around and enjoy the new place. As I was visiting my other local fish shops, I found a pretty rare fish that I haven't seen in quite some time. I used to keep this fish like around 3 to 4 years ago in a different house, and I haven't seen them since, till now. This is Synodontis petricola, or cuckoo catfish. Although they're pretty common in the States or anywhere else, they are pretty hard to find here in the Philippines, and I was ecstatic. I bought 2 right away because, I'll be honest, they're pretty expensive. Although they're best kept in like groups of 5 or 6, I was gonna take my time with them and get two each every other week because I don't have that much money. But yeah, these are really cool fish. I was super duper excited to get these guys because I have loved these fish. These were my favorite fish before, and yeah, these guys are awesome. I love their leopard-like pattern and vibrant white and black colors, and they were just so cool to see roaming around, and I was just excited to have 5 of them in the up-and-coming months. Really cool and really cute fish. Oh my god, I was so happy. After a week, the tank was settling in very nicely. The fish were active and out and about. They'd even go up and chase my hand during feeding time. The plants also were growing well, even going out of the water, as well as the terrestrial plants gathering new roots and new stems. This pond was truly being filled with life. One problem though was that the featherfin was being too aggressive. When I first bought it, the guy told me it wasn't aggressive at all, but then it started suddenly chasing my other fish and trying to fight them or nibble at them. So I had to make a tough call and put him in his own aquarium for now. The eel was enjoying its time burying itself in the sand, and even the crab would come out every now and then, which was surprising because it never came out before. So hey, no complaints here. Fast forward a couple months, and this tank has totally changed. Although I enjoyed how it was like before, I wanted something more natural and gave more for the fish. So I added branches and almond leaves, switched up the rocks, which indirectly added tannins in the water, but honestly, I didn't mind the look. Seeing them in a more natural setting as they swim through the branches, hide through the leaves, felt like I was looking down at a creek, with the amazing part being it was right here in my own home. Although I don't get to see the eel or Synodontis catfish a lot, it was really fun spotting them every now and then as they peek around and go through the foliage or the branches or search for food. It felt so much more natural, which was what I was really trying to emulate and wanted to see when making this tank. I also added 9 Julii corridoras, and they've just been a pleasure to watch. They're constantly zooming around the tank, surfing, they're not shy at all, and it's glad to see some more activity in this tank. Overall, I'm really happy with how this tank or pond came out. Every day I'd spend at least like 30 to 20 minutes just staring at all the fish, looking around, seeing if I can spot any others that are hiding down in the leaf litter or in the rocks or whatever. It's a nice slice of nature in my own room, and yeah, it was pretty easy to make. You just need a container and just buy the materials. Anyone can really do this at home, and you know, I suggest if you want to, try too, because it's nice to have nature all around. And yeah, hope you guys enjoy more of this B-roll. Like and subscribe, and maybe I'll give you guys another update soon.